Well, on this video, I'm gonna share with you 5 jobs that can make you a millionaire. Just in case you didn't know that actually career can make you a millionaire. Indeed, career can make you millionaires. These are 5 jobs. I don't know, maybe you're getting to university, you can consider studying them, or maybe you're out of them and you don't even know how to move around about it. I'm gonna share exactly on that. And by the way, number 4. It's quite interesting. Check it out until we reach number 4 and I can give an attest to that. Anyway, this is Good Joseph. In case you're watching me for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscription. Make sure that you subscribe, turn that notification bell so that to be notified whenever I upload a new good video. And by the way, hey, listen, this is an open discussion. Go ahead and put a comment on the comment section. Tell me where you're watching me from. Let's get into the business. Business number 1, or rather, the job number 1. Oh, by the way, that is my number in case you need my services in one way or the other as far as the investments are concerned. Okay, now, number 1, this is what we call, my pen is refusing to work with me. Hang on a second. I change the pen and get the other one. The number 1 is what we call investment banker. Investment banker. I know this sounds strange, probably be like, okay, investment banker. Does it mean I'm supposed to be a banker working somewhere in a normal, typical bank, then I can be a millionaire? No, 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 no. Let me say there are 2 types of banks. We have the commercial banks, and then we have the normal bank, and then we have the investment bank. That bank that usually take your money and just deposit, and then you're given a car or debit, whatever the thing they give you, that is just a normal bank. Nothing happens there. You're not investing, you're not doing nothing. The money is just resting out there. Then we have other section or other phase or other category of banks. We call them the investment banks. If you come from Kenya, we have 2 popular investment banks that we have here. One, we have the SIB, that is SIB, Standard Investment Bank, and we have the Faida investment banks. Those are banks majorly meant for investment. When you take your money to that bank, and I don't know why government wouldn't support these banks to actually be many, instead of us having a lot of banks that are not even. Anyway, let me not get there. We have a lot of commercial banks and less of investment banks. So if you become an investment banker, you kind of become an individual who, instead of people taking their money to a normal bank to keep it there for idle, to be idle, then you can actually be able to take this money and you manage it. We call them the asset managers. And then you can channel this money into various investments. For example, if you go to SIB, they have a lot of many products that you can invest on. They have the stockage, brokerage, that is the shares. They have, special funds and what have you. I'm saying them because I'm actually mentioning them because they are our Kenyan banks anyway. There's nothing wrong. Why would I mention Google comfortably and not mention our Kenyan company anyway? So the point is, and by the way, in case there's Standards Investment Bank, you're watching me, come on, we can work together. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, if you are an investment banker, you help people to manage their cash. You help people to actually not only manage but also invest so that both of you can benefit out of your money. Instead of it lying idle in a bank, then you can actually do what? Be able to help them. Hey, you know what? This cash you can actually invest here. This cash you can do this so that you can actually grow this instead of that. Then this is how you manage the risk. All those kind of things. And of course, the reason why you have the high chances of becoming a millionaire, of course, because you are dealing with people who have money. They always say you put your mouth where your money is. And if you go check out these banks, they are one of the wealthiest banks here in this great nation. Why? Because you find they help people to actually solve their problems. Them having a lot of liquid cash, they can actually be channeled towards an investment. And that is exactly how now you do what? You grow yourself and you move to the next level. So therefore, the investment banker, it's a job that you can highly consider. I know you're about to ask me, okay, if I would like to be an investment banker, how do I get myself there? There is no specific career that you have to pursue for you to be here. First of all, you have to come from the lineage of finances, okay? Financial management, you have to come from anything to do with business and what have you. Then you can climb the ladder and get yourself there so that you can be able to be entrusted with people's money. Not really you, but per se, have the expertise to actually share with people so that you can be able to help them on how they can grow themselves. That is what we call investment banker. Now, the second point or the second job that you can actually do and great something can happen to you is what we call software engineer. Software. I'm telling you, if there is a career that has money, is software engineer. Software engineer. Engineer. Of course, you get this from software engineering as a course. Are we together? Now to become a software engineer. And what basically these guys do? These are guys, by the way, this career has money. I have interacted with people who are software engineers, especially this era that you are living in. course, there are people who might say, hey, but you see, AI is already here with us, Joseph. You know, I can see AI changing things, you know. I can also see AI, you know, we reach to a point whereby we don't need people who are coders, who can code, you know, do web design, because we have, to some extent you have a point, but the reality is the AI is here to actually do what? There are a lot of people who don't even know how to use the AI, but if you can master the expertise of using the AI, how you can actually feed up very good, decent, you know, interpretable prompt, you know, from the AI, and then they also need some creativity, you know, in terms of the using the AI and what have you. So the software engineer, this is a guy who manages the softwares and complex about the ITs and what have you. So this is an area whereby you can actually pursue and get yourself. And by the way, sometimes I tell people, you really don't have to go through the university for you to reach here. You can actually pursue, or you can actually be able to buy some courses in some of the, you know, some of the websites such as Udemy, Skillshare, you know, and be able to learn these skills by yourself. And once you learn these skills, you can actually go ahead and practice them. You don't have to necessarily, you know, go to the traditional university or the college for you to get the certificates and what have you. And I know probably you're about to ask me then, if I go through the way of buying the courses and what have you, and then I study and I know, how can I prove to people that I have studied that? Because at the end of the day, you're going to ask me, where is the certificate? What can I prove to people? Nowadays, people are going off the era of asking people, what are the certificates? Can you get the job done? You know, one of the greatest company on earth, you know, owned by the Elon Musk Tesla, they say that we are no longer even asking people whether they have a degree. Can you get the job done? Yes, you can get the job done. Who cares what you study? Can you be able to solve my problem? Yes, of course you can be able to do that. Have you been tested by the times? Of course you have. Then go ahead and do that. That's the reality, because people are now becoming more enlightened on the in the tradition. They are a good thing with the traditional schools, because they teach you the sociology, you know, how to interact with people, the etiquettes and what have you. True, I'm not trying to brush it off and say it's not an important. It's important. If you get yours in that manner, that's okay, provided you make sure that it works. If someone else gets it in a different manner, you go ahead. Now, the point is, software engineering is a career, or is a course, or is a job that if you can get it, you can actually get yourself something good. Number 3, I don't want to keep you most of the time here. This is none other than having a medical, being a what? A medical specialist. A medical specialist. Medical specialist. Either you can be an oncologist, you can be a ophthalmologist, you can be a dentist, you can be a whatever. Just be specific on what you know. Gynecologist, you get what I'm saying? ENT, is it called ENT specialist or something like that? You know, be a specific individual in that field of medicine. Of course, this one, there is no any other way. This one, I cannot go, I cannot tell you go buy a course and study, become a doctor. No. This one, you don't have any option. You have to score an A, you have to go through the university, you have to go to a medical school, and you have to finish your Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery. Here in Kenya, that's what we call it. After finishing that, you become just a general doctor. Then after that, you go back to school to special. This one, you have to be a bookworm. This does not have any other shortcut. That is the only way you can go about it. For God's sake, here you're talking about people's lives. So, medical specialists, I do have some guys whom I know that they're actually millionaires, truly speaking. And of course, these guys, although I have one who is so much into drinking and funny thing, you know, he's watching. You know, I usually tell him the truth. So, anyway, I'm not going to mention your name, but we've been talking about that a lot. So, you know, the point is, I'm saying this because I have a lot of friends who are in this field of medical specialist. I also have a medical background. I studied from Maseno University. You know, I have a medical background and something. I know you'd be like, oh, how did you get yourself in finance? I have too much to share. Okay. Now, you know, the point is, I have a lot of guys who are in this field, and I can tell for sure this is a field that has quite of a good money, and you know, you can go ahead and pursue these, you know, medical specialist. And doesn't have to be necessarily the medical, the clinical medicine. You can also get yourself into the research sector. You can also get yourself into pharmaceutical sector. Anything to do with healthcare. It's an area that I can tell you for sure it's a lot of money to be made out of this. Ask me how, and I can tell you a million ways on how you can go ahead and monitor these services on how to do it. Let's go ahead and make the 4th one that I told you has a lot of things. And this one is none other than being a content creator, you know, content creator. Or should I say your personal branding or personal branding, personal branding. This is the easiest. Okay, Okay, first of all, it's not easy. Get me right. When you're building, it's not easy. But you reach to a certain levels, you becoming it's not a big deal. Content is not a big deal. Go check it out. How much Mr. Beast usually earns. It's the most followed or the most popular, content creator on earth is Mr. Beast. You don't even go there. If you're a Kenyan, check it out here in this great nation. We have a lot of content creators from which we can. I mean, content creation. If it can actually accept you, in Swahili unasema ikikukubali, you can actually get a lot from this because you get the brand deals from people, from brands, that is, you get contracts, you can actually be contracted. Like I was saying, for example, I was talking about Standard Investment Bank. Let's say they contact me and they tell me, hey, would like us to go to a deal and something like that. Of course, you charge decent money because you will deliver on that particular manner. Then you're good to go. Content creation, you can also sell your services because you're getting watched by a lot of people. That's why I leave my number out there. You can get this number and contact me. You get be watched by a lot of people. People can contact you for consultation. People can actually you can help them to guide them professionally, or maybe you can actually channel them towards. There are very means. Even these social media channels, some do pay, and then they can actually earn something out of that. And that's why you find, some of the guys, they usually go overboard and try to misbehave in terms of they say it's content creation, then they actually go overboard and do some things that is not really decent. And let's not get there. That's not the point. The point is content creation. It's an area that you can actually consider and get yourself into. Again, I know not everyone can be a content creator. Not everyone can stand before this camera and say whatever I'm saying. Some of you, there was a certain guy who was asking me, Joseph, how do you manage to stand before a camera and say something and there is nobody there watching you or listening, just you and your phone and your studio and your lighting, and you're just saying as if someone is listening? I said the same case happens to the news reporters, in this traditional mainstream media. Nobody, you're not seeing anybody, but you're being watched by millions of people out there. So I would say, sure, I mean, you need to have a certain character and behavior for you to reach there. Not everyone can actually do that. So just do what you can, There are people who even have social media channels that are faceless, Your face is never be seen. You just do the voiceovers and people have never seen your face. And those channels are doing great. So in whichever the way, nowadays there's content creation and social media is our greatest CV, that I remember there was somewhere where I was going and I was asked what I can do and whatever. I just referred them to my social media channel, and I got the gig. So as simple as that. So by virtue of them checking on my social media channels, and they'd be like, oh, wow, that's great. That's great. I mean, we can see you have something. I mean, you cannot have more than 1 million people following you, saying nothing. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So you can actually get yourself into that. Now, let's go to the last one, which is the real estate and financial consultation. You can get into the real estate either as an agent. The fifth one is the real estate, or you can also get into what? You can get the real estate consultation, or you can get into the financial consultation. Professionally, if you have the degree related to finances and all those kind of things, you can offer those services, okay? And people can contact you, you can offer them guidance and what have you. You can be a coach, you can be a whatever, and it doesn't have to be real estate only. You can actually be somebody who is good at marriages, kids, psychology and what have you, motivational speakers, orators. There are people who are very good at talking, and then they can teach people how to talk. That is a whole career. We have a guy here in Kenya who is coming up very well. He's on social media called Walubengo. He's doing so good in terms of orator. He can talk very well, and I'm seeing him catching flights going to places. Recently I think he was in South Africa, if I'm not wrong. I stand corrected, and he was teaching people. Look, somebody like Vusi Thembekwayo, the guy from South Africa. He's not really a motivational speaker per se, but he's a guy who majors much on public speaking and finances, money, investments, and what have you. And I mean, you just go listen to the guy. I mean, you will actually attest indeed he has something to say and he knows how to say it. You can have a lot to say, but you don't know how to say it. So yeah, that is it, guys. So check out all those areas that can actually make you something, you know. And you don't have necessarily to be employed to do this. You can actually practice this, except the part of the medical part, that one may actually require quite of a huge chunk of cash, unless you just want to do call, I don't know, they are called locums or something like that. Anyway, it is what it is. That's good. Joseph speaking. In case you need my services, don't forget that's my number out there. Give it a call and let's talk business for now. So goodbye. See you the next time.